start the webinar in a few minutes, and I would like to ask you if you can let me know in the chat if you can hear me all right, and then we can start in about 3 minutes. So welcome everyone for the ones who just joined. Today we'll be going over the very basic features in Prezi, and we'll be creating a Prezi today, but if you just want to watch, you can also just watch my screen. If you like to create a Prezi, I would like you to sign up for a public Prezi account. That will be all right. And then you can go and create a new Prezi from a blank template. We'll be creating the Prezi today that you see on my screen, and I will guide you through the process. So I will send you a link. There was also a link in the event description, but I will send you a link in the chat so that you can download all the files that we need to create this Prezi. So please wait a bit more till the rest joins, and then we can start the webinar in time. So if you haven't signed up for a Prezi account yet and you want to create a Prezi, then please do that right now, and then we can start in time. So welcome everyone who just joined. I would like to start the webinar now. Welcome to today's Getting Started in Prezi webinar. We'll go over the basic features that you can use in Prezi. We'll create a Prezi today, and if you want to join me in doing that, I'd like you to sign up for a public account, and once you've signed up, then you can create a new Prezi and start it from a blank template. Right now, I'm looking at a Prezi presentation already, and I want to create this Prezi together with you guys. So I will send a link to a Dropbox folder where you can find all the files that we need to create this presentation. I will send it to you in the chat now. And once you've reached this folder, you will find a download button in the top right corner. You see this download as zip. If you click on that, it starts downloading. And when it's done, we can unzip it so we can use the files in this Prezi. Now I'm going back to my presentation, and I'm going to give you I'm going to explain you a bit about the concept of Prezi. So what we see here is the editor of Prezi. We use a big canvas, as we call it, and on this canvas you can put all your IDs. So other than slide-based presentation software, Prezi uses one big canvas to put on all your ideas. So it's not different slides you present from, but actually everything is on one big slide, you could say that. You can zoom in and out to, well, zooming in to show the details and zoom out to show the big picture. So now I want to zoom in to the agenda to see what we'll be doing today by using the scroll on my mouse. I can also use the magnifying buttons on the right side of the screen, the minus to zoom out and the plus to zoom in. So I use the scroll now to zoom in. So what I'll be explaining today is how to explore the canvas. So the canvas is this one big zoomable slide you can put your IDs on. I will show you how to move, resize, and rotate objects. We'll be doing that very soon. Well, then we'll add more content to create the actual presentation. I will show you what a Prezi path is. Why do you actually need that? And we'll be presenting the presentation as well. I will show you the difference between editing a presentation and actually presenting it. Now, after we're done doing that, I'll show you how to set up the privacy settings for your presentation and how to make and save a copy of it. You will also learn how to download it to present offline and how to share the presentation with your friends or colleagues. Now, a bit more about exploring this canvas. So I just showed you that you can zoom in and out by using these plus and magnifying button on the right side of the screen. So I just zoom out now to show the big picture. And I can also move around by left clicking on the canvas. I hold it and I drag it in any desired direction. So this is how we move around and how we zoom around. I mostly use the scroll my mouse. So now that we understand how to zoom and move, I want to actually move, resize, and rotate objects. And as we started from a blank template, I will show you how to do this with simple text now. I want to just left click on this canvas, and then you see a text box appearing. So I want to just type in something, and I click anywhere else on the canvas. Now I want to hover over my mouse again on this word that I just typed in, and you see that when there's a blue rectangle appearing around it, I can select it. So by left clicking on the object, I will make the transformation tool appear. This one here is called the transformation tool. So with this transformation tool, you can move objects by left clicking in the very center on the hand. So I hold it and I move it anywhere I want on the canvas. I can also resize my objects by clicking on the minus or the plus button to make it bigger. What I can also do is manually resize by left clicking on the corners. I hold it and I drag it towards the inside to make it smaller and drag it outwards to make it bigger. One more thing, if I want to rotate my objects, I move my mouse a bit out of the corner of the object, and then I see this rotate icon appearing. Now we left click again, and then we can rotate the objects. So this is how to move, resize, and rotate objects. I'm going to delete this. We don't need this anymore. Now I'm going to zoom a bit back in. And so what we'll be doing today is creating the lower part of this presentation that we see. So we already know how to insert text. So we'll be inserting some more text. And we'll go and insert some images. You can all find these images in the Dropbox folder that I shared with you in the chat. You will find a link to that Dropbox folder. So let's go ahead. I'm going to zoom out a bit and use the space on the right side over here to create this Prezi. So I want to go ahead and type in my title. So I left click on the canvas and I type in my title. I'll be talking about how to cook lecho. This is one of my favorite Hungarian dishes. Now, what you see in this text box is that you can choose from 3 different styles. I can choose from a body style, a subtitle, and a title. Now, I want to choose a title to make this text my title, but you understand that when we're talking about other things, I can choose a subtitle to indicate my less important topics, and my body to to explain things more in detail. So now I want to keep this in this style, but I want to make my text a bit bigger. We use different sizes to show the relevance between the objects. So I make my title big, and I make my main topics and the details smaller. So now I want to type in my subtitles, and I'm going to do that over here. So I just left click on the canvas again and type in my subtitle. Choose the subtitle style, and then we can resize them a bit to use the right size. So some more. I left click and drag my canvas over there so I have some more space. I left click on the canvas again and I type in my last subtitle. Now, what you see again when you hover over your mouse over an object, you see this blue rectangle. You can also left click on an object, not first left clicking, but holding when you see this blue rectangle, and then you just drag it into any place you want it to already move it without showing the transformation tool. So I'm doing this right now, and as I'm doing this, you can see that I have this snapping tool helping me out positioning my objects. So I want to put this one over here, and then I want to move this one. I want to move cooking over here, a bit to the right. Now, maybe I want to make my title a bit bigger. All right. I think this will be good. So what I'm going to do now, I'm moving my canvas a bit to be able to zoom in on this frame over here. I'll explain you a bit more about frames in a minute, but right now I want to just see what we have over here, and then I want to go and insert that over here on the right. So what we need for ingredients, we need, so I'm choosing my body style now. We need tomatoes, no, first potatoes. Some spicy Hungarian paprikas, some Hungarian peppers. What else? Onion, garlic. Let's have a look. Need some red paprika powder and so now that we have our list, I want to make this a bit nicer, and as you see, we also have to resize it a bit because now it's way too big. So I'm going to select all of my text. Then I'm going to click on this right arrow over here on the text box, on the top of the text box. Now I want to click on this alignment button and align it to the center. And I want to resize my text now. So we learned how to resize. I click anywhere else and I hover my mouse over the object again. When I see the blue rectangle, I left click on it, and then I can start resizing. So let's position it over here at the ingredients. Now we have to make this a bit nicer, because now we made it descriptive, so I see what we need, but I want to make it look nicer by adding some images now. So to do that, we have to click on Insert from the top menu. I click on Insert, and then I can click on Image over here. It's the very first option. And as we downloaded these files to our computer, I want to select the files from my computer. I go into the folder, and here I can insert all these images one by one. But what I think is smarter now is to select all of them and then insert them at once. Let's save some time. So what I see now is that we're actually uploading fairly large images. I want to be sure and not crash my Prezi, so I want to resize my images. If we don't need to zoom in on these images, it's not even important to keep them in such a high resolution. So just resize. And now I think we can position all these images. So we learned how to move and how to resize the object. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to move everything into place. And we can resize it. So just put all the images around the text in the right place, just close to the words where you see them. So once we've moved everything into place, resize it, see that we're almost done, but I want to add one more thing. I just type in some more text, some body text. Some sausage. If you don't want to have a vegetarian lechon, we can add that. What I also see, I want to just quickly show that when I'm resizing my text here, I see, and it's clearly visible when I manually do this, is when my text reaches the same size as text nearby, I see a blue rectangle appearing around this text. So if you look at the ingredients, the text for my ingredients, you see that it's the same size now. I want to have this the same size, so that's good now. Then I move this image over here. Oh, I forgot my paprika powder. And then I think we're pretty good. So now I want to show you how to group objects, because I think we'd like to talk about things not just one by one, but we actually want to talk about all these ingredients all together. So now I will group these things by using frames. And you can go to the top menu and click on frames and arrows. Here you can see draw bracket frames. I want you to click on that. And you can left click on the canvas. So choose the top left corner and then drag it to the bottom right corner where you want to have it. And you will see that now you've grouped all this content inside of my frame. I will show you that if I start moving my frame now, so I just clicked on the frame, and now you see that when I move it, I move all the objects within the frame. I can also resize them. So one more thing, if I zoom out, I see that over here I use this number 1, and I want to show you where you can find that. So if you go to the top menu, you can click on Insert. Here you can also find symbols and shapes. So in Prezi we already have a nice selection of symbols for you, and in this selection you can also find these numbers. If you scroll all the way down, you find these green numbers. I use these. So just click on the number 1 now and click on choose. So we put that in the top left corner of the frame, and that's it. So this is basically how we do it. Now I want to zoom in a bit over here in your cooking place, and I want to have a look at this image over here. So let's make it a bit bigger. I need this bigger. And what's going to be important is what we show on the picture over here. And this is a feature from images. So if you have an image in your Prezi, you can hover over your mouse on the image. So we see the blue rectangle again. So I left click on it, and here you also find the crop image option. So now I can crop images, and this is perfect because I don't want to distract my audience by showing this man cooking the lecho. I just want to focus on how we can cook this in a very traditional way. So this is nice. Now I show this, and then when we click anywhere else on the canvas, we only show the selection. So when we go back to crop image, you will see that the rest of the image is still there, but what we now show is just the selection of the image. So that's it. I want to have this here. Now I want to start describing what I'm looking at. So now we can make a list of the things we need to build this up. So we need some chains. And I think we also need this bowl. We need some wood. Well, as we see, we need some matches to make the fire. We also need this cooking stand. And we need a big wooden spoon. Perfect. Now I want to bring all these words into relation with the image. So I want to do that by using lines, and we can insert those via frames and arrows from the top menu. And here, if you go down, you find draw line. I want you to click on that, then we can draw a line from the words to the image where we point at. I want to change the style. If it's already black, then you don't have to change that color style. I want to decrease the line thickness to make it a bit smaller. I think that looks nice. And then we can do the same for all the other words. So draw the line to change my style. Just make it a bit smaller. Now, if you have, if you started from a blank canvas, then you will not have this color brown line yet. And I will show you very, very soon how you can get to this color. I first want to finish this task, and then we can go ahead and change this color because I want to use that over here in the image. So let's just make some more lines. I click on draw line, left click on the canvas, I hold it, drag it, and then I release it. Well, what you see now is that when you have this line and you want to move the line around, you can click on any of the points of the line. There you can position it in a different way. You can also make a bended line, but I just want to keep straight lines now. Okay, so now I want to show you something else. I want to show you how I think you can use lines in a different way. I think you can also build simple structures from lines. So you can use some assets in Prezi to build some structures. Now, I just simply use lines here to make this image a bit nicer. What I think, like if we're looking at this image now, we see that this spoon is not very nicely cut off. And I think we can actually use a line over here to just make it look a bit nicer. Now, I want to use the color brown for this wooden color, but to choose that color, you have to go to template in the top menu. Here you can find a lot of different themes we have. So if you want to just look around, you can look around and change some of the themes. You can also revert back to the original. I like to keep it clean now, so I'm not going to touch that, but we can customize the current theme. So click on customize current theme, then it loads the theme wizard, and here you can choose from different color backgrounds to different fonts, more colors, and here we can also define colors for arrows and lines. So what I did, I clicked on this color brown, and then I clicked on done. So now we can use that color when we click on frames and arrows, draw a line, we just left click on the canvas, and then release it when we're happy. I think this looks a bit nicer, especially from a distance. So we'll not be zooming in on this line specifically anyway. We'll be just looking at this overview what we're seeing here. I also want to create a line right here. So click on frames and arrows once more, draw a line, and release it when I'm happy. Now, obviously I want to choose a different color, maybe a bit smaller. And there we have it. So I think that looks okay. And I want to finish again by grouping this content with a frame. So I click on frames and arrows from the top menu, draw bracket frame. Then I left click in the top corner of my frame. I drag the frame around all of my content to the bottom right corner, and then I release it. So here we have our frame again. We can move some content a bit if we want. Then I want to insert the number 2. So remember, we click on insert from the top menu, and symbols and shapes. We scroll all the way down. And then we click on the number 2. And then choose. So transformation tool, we move it, left clicking on the hand, move it into place, then resize it. Perfect. So there we have it. Now I want to finish my last frame over here. And before we do, let's just have a look at what we've done so far. So I'm going back to the agenda now. What I do, I always zoom out and then I easily move back to the next. So as you see, it's a lot easier to zoom back out first and then zoom into the content you want to zoom in on. I would not recommend you to just move around the canvas all the time. You get a bit lost, and I think using that overview is really great. Anyway, for the agenda now. So we've been exploring the canvas. We learned how to use the minus and plus magnifying button on the right side of the screen. We know how to move around the canvas by dragging. We know how to move, resize, and rotate objects with the transformation tool. We also added content. We added text, images, shapes. We are about to add videos, just a video, frames. I will go over PowerPoint import. We'll do that a bit later. So this is a great way to reuse your old PowerPoint slides, by the way. Now, I want to go over Prezi path to tell you a bit about what that is. Then we'll present the presentation, then we'll do the rest. So let's get back to work. I will move to the last frame we'll be having over here. And now I want to show you how to insert a video. So in the folder that I shared with you, you can also find an RTF file. So this is a simple text document, and when you open it, you can find a YouTube link. So when you copy this link, you can just go back to Prezi and left click on the canvas to open a text box. We paste the link in the text box, click anywhere else, and voila, you have your video inside of the Prezi. So that's a very, very fast way to upload videos to your presentation. Actually, you're not even uploading it, you're just streaming the content through this. So this is also something that you have to take into consideration. I will mention this later, but just to tell you guys already, if you want to present offline, obviously with streaming content you need an internet connection. So when you present offline, you cannot use YouTube or Vimeo videos. But it's a great way to already use videos in Prezi, and if you have a stable internet connection, there's no problem. But I would recommend you to always insert videos from your computer if you want to present offline. Now, we have our content here. Let's finish it by grouping it in a frame. So I want to draw a bracket frame around the content. And then I'm going to click on Insert, Symbols and Shapes, scroll all the way down, and choose the number 3. So let's move it into place again, and there we have it. So this is pretty much what for the content part. We have all the content here, but now we need some more because we're not there yet. We're almost done editing. Now we still need a path, and I'm going to explain you a bit about this path feature. So to show your IDs on the canvas, right now we're looking at all of it, but we want to show our IDs in a certain sequence, right? In a certain order. And what we see on the left side of our screen, we see this so-called path thumbnail bar. I want to just clear all to start from scratch and just to show you what this is all about. So what we want to do, I think, is great to start with an overview. I show my audience the overview, what I'll be talking about today, and to quickly do that is by clicking on Add Current View. So you can move all the way to the bottom left corner of your screen. When you're in Add Path mode, so you click on Edit Path, then you click on Add Current View, and this will just create a hidden frame around the content on the canvas you were just looking at. So here it is, and you see that as we did this, it straightly moved to the path thumbnail bar. So here we have the overview. Now on the top, it says, right under the top menu, it says click on any object to add it to the path. So let's give it a try. If I click on frame, this frame, for instance, you see that it will be added to the path. So this is the second path step we will show in present mode. Now I will click on the next frame, the one after, and then I will finish with an overview again. So I go from overview back to overview. What I want to do, I think actually I forgot something, because I also want to show this video and it won't show itself. So by adding this to the path, it will automatically play when you're in present mode. So now I want to show this video, and I want to show this right after the fourth path step. So if I want to change the order of the path, I can simply left click on a thumbnail and then dragging it to any other position in the order. So now just changed it to path step number 5. And when we're done, we can click on done, and then we can go to present. So you see this blue present button on the top left corner of your screen, and when you click on that, it will automatically bring you to the first path step of the path, your presentation. So here we are in full screen mode, and in full screen mode we see a progress bar. So there's a progress bar starting from the left, and you can see all the points on the progress bar that are your path steps. You can see a quick view of that. And you can proceed through the presentation by clicking on the arrow keys that you find on the bottom over here. But you can also use the right and left arrow keys on your keyboard. By reaching the video, it will automatically play, and we finished in the overview again. So we can go back. Here we start, and you see that it zooms in on every object you're showing. So just a bit more about the behavior of Prezi in present mode. What you see is that now that we chosen this path, it will show all the path steps assigned in that order. What we can also do is click, when we're in present mode, click on any object you see in the presentation, and then it will zoom into that. So now you can imagine that you can basically zoom in anywhere you want. You can assign path steps to individual objects as well. This can be good, for example, if we don't just want to show which ingredients we'll be using, but maybe we'd like to explain more about the specific potatoes we want to use. Maybe these are special kind of potatoes, and we want to give some more detailed information over here. Then we could possibly zoom in over here, and then we give some more information. So you see the relevance will be, well, because it will be smaller, it will be less important, but these are the small details in your presentation. What we can also find in present mode is this autoplay feature. You can autoplay your presentation by going to the bottom right corner of your screen. There's this full screen button, but right next to it you see a little timer. So you can click on that, and then you can choose to autoplay your presentation with a 4-second, 10-second, or 20-second delay between the path steps. So this is how it works. It shows you on the screen autoplay with 4-second delay, and this is how it goes through the presentation. And when you start moving manually, it will stop the autoplay. And then we can exit present mode by clicking on this X in the top right corner, or by pressing escape on our keyboard. So now we're back to edit mode, and now you will see that when I click on objects, the transformation tool appears. So remember, in present mode you will zoom into objects, but when in edit mode you will be able to edit these objects when you see this blue rectangle. I think that's it for the very basic parts that I want to show in this presentation. Now, we shouldn't forget to have a look at PowerPoint import. I think this is a great feature to reuse your old PowerPoint slides into Prezi, and you can quickly add these to your Prezi presentation to restructure them and add some more content to make it look nicer, but also a lot more easier to understand. In the folder I shared with you guys, that Dropbox folder, you can find a PowerPoint import example. That's how it's called. This is a PowerPoint file, and we can use this to show how it looks like. So to insert it, we can go to the top menu again, click on Insert, and here we find the PowerPoint import button. So when in the folder, we select the PowerPoint file, just import it, and you will see that now the conversion starts. So it starts uploading and converting the PowerPoint. And when it's done converting, you can insert your slides one by one, but you can also insert them all in once and then choose from several different layouts. So you can choose some different layouts to see what works best, and that's it. So here you see that you can drag these individual slides onto the canvas. I don't want to do that now. I want to insert them all at once. And now we first have to select the layout. I think this explanation layout, as it's called, works quite well. So that's the one, the fourth from the top left from the layouts. So I want to choose this one, and then I can add a path between my slides. I insert them, and there you see now it's on the canvas. I have to click on this check mark. There we have it. So it's automatically added to the path, and I guess we want to rearrange the content a bit, spice it up with some, let's say, some more images, some relations that you can show in Prezi between the objects. But I think this is a very fast and easy way to quickly get everything on the canvas and then start remixing the content. And now that we're done inserting this PowerPoint, I can click this conversion bar over here, the import bar, and then I can close the import. I clicked on this little X, and now close import. So that's it. It's that easy. And right now I'm going back to the agenda. I want to go out of this presentation and show you the rest of the things that I still want to explain to you guys. So I almost went over every button that you can find in the editor, but I will quickly tell you a bit more about the ones I didn't mention yet. So in this top menu, you find some more buttons. Right next to the present button, all the way on the top left, you will find an undo button. So whenever you're not happy with redo it, if you change your mind again, your Prezi is automatically saved while you're editing, but you can always click on the save button and then it will save the Prezi. So we went over frames and arrows. Here you can explore some more. Insert. So we discussed the templates. Now here you find help and settings whenever you have questions and you can't figure out what to do. There are great articles you can find in our manual and FAQ. You'll find some video tutorials over here and some more help material over here. Now, you can also share your presentation with your friends or colleagues. You can invite people to edit, to collaborate in your presentation. You can also do an online presentation. So this is view only. I will show you also from the outside of the editor how this works. So when we exit this presentation, we will reach this Prezi's landing page. Yeah, let's do this right now. So on exiting, I click on this exit button on the top right corner of my screen. It will save my presentation again. And here we see what we just created. So this is the presentation, and we can proceed through it in the same way as I showed you, as in present mode. There, you can also use your keyboard arrow keys or click on these arrow buttons. Now, what we see on this landing page is the public and reusable button that's below the presentation, and by clicking on that, you can set up the privacy state of your presentation. By default, with a public account, you will create public and reusable Prezis. So these Prezis will show up on the prezi.com/explore page, and other people can save a copy of this presentation if they find it. So whenever people think this can be useful information to reuse and remix into their presentations, just as an inspiration or maybe for the structure, they can do that. If you don't want that, you can also set it to public, so then people can only find it on Explore, but they can't make a copy. Or if you want to create private presentations, you click on private, but keep in mind that you have to upgrade your account. If you're on a public license, you have to either use an Enjoy or a Pro account to be able to make your presentations private. So that's it. I will keep this one public and reusable. I'm totally fine with people reusing this content. And now I want to show you some more about how to present offline. So I mentioned that, and I think it's highly recommendable to download your presentation to present offline. So you can download a portable Prezi that as a zip file. So this creates a zip file, and when you unzip this file, you have to keep everything in that folder. But this way, you don't have to install anything. You can just put it on a thumb drive, and you could present from any computer without an internet connection. Again, if you embed YouTube or Vimeo videos, you need to stream content. In other words, you need an internet connection. So if you don't have that internet connection, then try to insert videos from your computer instead. If it's just an uploaded video file, then you don't need that internet connection. You can also download this presentation for Prezi Desktop. If you just signed up for a Prezi account, you will have a 30-day free trial. You can try out Prezi Desktop. This is a great way to also edit presentations offline, and you can both present and edit it offline. But this is only for pro users. So when you're in your trial, you can still try it out. But after the 30 days, you could decide to stay pro. So what you can also do is save a copy of your presentation. When you like to keep this original, you can just click on Save a Copy, and this will create a copied version. So you keep the original and you can edit the copied version. You can also click on Share to share view links. So this way people can only view your presentation. Editing, if you want to invite them to collaborate in Prezi, you can collaborate in real time. Or you can also choose to embed the presentation on a website or a blog. Or you can delete the presentation with this trash icon over there. I'm not going to do that. I like this one. And we can go back into edit mode by clicking on this blue edit button. So then we'll reach the editor again. and by clicking on your Prezis, the very top left, see your Prezis, top left center. Here you see that when we just logged in, so whenever you're logged in Prezi, this is always the first page that we will reach, prezi.com/your. Here you can find all of your presentations, and you'll see that this is the presentation we just created. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can find some inspirational Prezis on the Explore page. If you have any questions, you can always find a lot of material under Learn and Support. And yeah, that's pretty much it what I wanted to tell you guys for today. I like to thank you all for joining my webinar. I will stick around for some more questions. I hope this was really helpful and that it was insightful, that you can create your own Prezi presentation now. And so if you have questions, feel free to ask me in the chat. I will mute my microphone now and I will stick around over here. So thank you so much again, and I would like to say happy Zooming to you all and have a nice day wherever you are. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.